We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Paris down to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. Ale, ale, ale. Ale, ale, alo. Ale, ale, ale. Anyway, hello, hi, welcome. The show's name is Politics.
Hello.
I call it Politrix, and a very happy Madam Webruary to all who celebrate, because this week is the titular episode. It's Madam Web. My name is Presh.
And I'm Dill.
And, for the past couple of weeks, I haven't done any cleanup. Can we just get into the news?
Yeah, sure.
Alright. The Carabao Cup. Liverpool won the Carabao Cup this weekend, and it was an incredibly satisfying win. Right?
Go Liverpool.
We are... Well, who do you support?
I just said I'm supporting whoever.
No,
you
but I
just
mean...
mentioned. That's how I go. Whoever you speak about, I'll just support them.
Oh, cool. I thought you had someone you supported.
Nope,
okay.
No.
I see.
I have enough support for every team, which is enough support for no team. Also.
Yes. Very good philosophy. Especially because you don't watch.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So we're suffering from a large number of injuries and had to play a bunch of youth team players for large portions of the game.
Okay.
Right? And I'm glad we didn't use that as an excuse and still put up a good performance.
That's awesome.
Right? I only have two things to say.
Okay.
First of all, a big shout out to the fans, right?
Yeah,
because you could see that the team was looking tired, and they belted out that song that I just sung now, Ale Ale Ale, and the team got galvanized and they win and they won it in extra time.
Hey, that's
right?
Lovely.
That's people underrate the power of fans, bro. But it's a tangible thing. You can see it happening, bro. It's
for sure.
It's for real. Anyway, Ben Chilwell, the opposing captain, is a fucking little gimp, right?
Right?
Throughout the game, he tried to instigate fight with the youth players. Bro, what is wrong with you?
Listen, he's trying to play the game.
He spat at one guy. He didn't spit on him, but he spat in the direction of him, bro. He's a fucking...
Disrespect is mad.
He's such a loser, dude. These are kids.
That's terrible.
You're a fucking bum.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's shameful behavior indeed.
Bro, hang your head in shame. Anyway, the next news story.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the director Sam Mendes?
No, tell me about Sam Mendes.
So he won. Actually, I'm sorry, I didn't write anything for this year because
you just know about it.
Yeah, because he's not the main focus of the new story.
What's the story?
No, but I'll still try and remember. I think he directed American Beauty.
Oh yes.
Which won Best Picture in 1999.
What's that guy's name?
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, I know.
He falls in love with his daughter's friend.
Yeah.
It's a fucked up movie.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes,
That's
and
cool.
he also directed a few of the James Bond movies. I think he did Casino Royale and another one. I think he might have done Skyfall.
Oh,
Don't
nice.
quote me on that, but yes. So he's going to be directing 4 Beatles movies based on each member of the band.
Okay, that's it.
Right.
Like a lot. That's it. 4, I thought you meant there's 4 members. So
No, 1 movie for each member.
Jeez.
Right.
Okay.
And presumably, they haven't mentioned this, but I'm presuming it's going to be the same actors, a Beatles shared universe, the BCU.
I feel it.
Right.
Although, I could dig something like that if it was on Netflix as a series.
If it was 4
limited
episodes of a series,
4
bro.
episodes, 1
That's
hour
dope.
each. Sure. But why are you making 4 movies, bro?
That's crazy.
That's a bit too much, man.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to cover that here. But imagine.
I don't know much about the Beatles.
Yes, I was just going to ask you that. Are you familiar with the Beatles?
I know that they're a very popular band, rock group, alternative rock. I don't even know.
Well,
I couldn't name too many songs of theirs, but maybe if I heard them, I might know.
Yeah. So my grandfather was a big fan of John Lennon. I have a friend, his name is Callan.
Yeah.
He's also a huge fan of the Beatles. What I know them for is not their music. It's
What do you know them for?
They're big fans of drugs.
Oh,
right?
Even better, bro. Even better.
So they financed the movie The Holy Mountain, which is directed by... Fuck, I can't remember his name now, but he's a bad guy. Right? But that's a great movie. So...
It's a bit iffy. But that could be... We'll see.
And they made a movie called Yellow Submarine. Which people watch while they're on drugs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know them from drugs, but I hear they make some good music too.
Look, they could make movies, music, whatever they want.
Yeah, but
sex,
the reason I bring this up, because I just thought this is so excessive. This is like...
drugs, bro.
This shows the excess of Hollywood. This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is...
That's true. Because they're gonna pay a lot of money for each of those movies, man. And
I think
hope they make enough money for.
There's something called Beatlemania, because they were so big that like people fainted. People followed them around. They were huge. They were one of the first like big rock bands. I think I don't know the history of music, but I'm led to believe that they were very, very popular. So I think they're cashing in on Beatlemania. But I don't know how well that's gonna work. Who's like I don't think younger people are that into the Beatles.
So like you're explaining to me now, maybe our grandparents would also know the Beatles, because especially golden oldies. They play those jams and you hear it. But now, for us who don't know about the Beatles, it might be a chance for us to learn more about the Beatles. So if we were interested, we might want to watch one or two movies, see how it goes.
Well, I want to watch the John Lennon movie.
Yeah.
Because he was assassinated.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
So that could be more interesting. Yeah.
Yes, that's the one. If I were to watch one of them, that's the one I would watch. That being said, I know the most about John Lennon, so maybe that's not the one to watch. Maybe I should watch the one who I know nothing about, which is either Ringo or George.
Look, if there were just a limited series on Netflix, 1 hour each, 4 movies, 4 episodes, I'll watch that shit, no problem. Yeah.
Anyway, the Beatles are also from Liverpool. So we have 2 Liverpool stories up front.
Nice. Okay.
I was just thinking about that now. Right. So our next story. I'm reading portions of this article from iol.co.za in a story written by Se-Ann Roll. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's Se-Anne. Se-Ann. Is that...
That sounds right, bro.
That's the best I can do.
Yeah,
right.
That's all you can do.
Lectures at the University of KwaZulu-Natal's Westville campus were disrupted on Monday morning following a protest led by the Economic Freedom Fighters Student Command, the EFFSC. Among the EFFSC's list of demands, they are calling for the fees department to operate physically on campus rather than solely online. The student command said that while online services offer convenience, many students encounter difficulties and delays in resolving fee-related issues through virtual platforms. The EFFSC threatened that failure to respond to their demands will result in further disruptions and discontent among students. According to the EFFSC's list of demands, they want academic activity suspended until students have received their allowances of food parcels. The I keep how many fucking times
the SC, bro, just
those the guys, right?
Yeah, the guys,
you know them. Said many students are facing financial hardship which impacts their ability to focus on their studies, and are requesting that the academic program be put on hold to alleviate the financial burden on these students.
All right, that makes sense, I guess.
Now they have more demands, and I agree in theory about all of them, right? All of them are totally reasonable, right? The only thing I don't agree with is that during this protest, some people, they destroyed a bunch of university property, right? That does not solve anything. I saw this like horrific video of just people like jumping over a gate, right? And they were like breaking into the campus and causing a protest, right? that doesn't solve anything. The EFF-SC called for a peaceful demonstration, but since the violence occurred, they have said nothing about it or reprimanded anyone for that behavior, right? So it's not enough that you say, hey, we're going to have a peaceful protest, and then things turn violent. You can't just remain silent. You have to be like, take responsibility,
These
right?
are my people. These are the EFFCs.
Even if they are your people, say, listen, we denounce these people.
Exactly.
They don't represent what we stand for, right? But they haven't reprimanded anyone, right?
Yes.
I bring this up because the EFF is the party that probably most aligns with my politics. But I can't justify voting for them when members associated with them commit acts of violence and no one condemns it. No one, like, the EFF, like
just overlook it.
Yeah, that's...
it's not alright.
It's not alright, right?
That's unfortunate. I guess that's why you're not voting.
Well, this is the thing. So you have a new story, right? Which is
about
the voting.
Oh, I don't know about the voting. I don't know anything about voting. I was saying...
You told me before we started I have news about the voting.
No, I don't have news. I was just saying, there happens to be a period when we could register to vote, which to me, I don't know if it completely makes sense. If I did want to vote, why would I have to register beforehand? Can't I just rock up and do the thing?
I assume it has to do with fraud.
But I'm not a fraudster, dog.
Yeah.
So if I was, you could catch me there.
No, but I mean, you're not the only person in the world, there are fraudsters out there.
I'm just trying to do my thing, but I don't want to have to register and then vote. But to be honest, I don't know anything about politics,
I call it politics.
Yeah. But, so I don't get too involved in those things. Yeah. But interestingly enough, you were telling me about something.
I said I wasn't gonna vote.
Oh yeah.
Because there's no one to vote for.
Yeah.
Right.
Is there not an option on the form that says non-applicable?
I don't know.
Oh,
I've never voted. I read, in the past 2 weeks, the EFF, the DA, and the ANC all released their manifestos, which is their platform on what they're running on. And I just don't believe I believe the DA, but what the DA are proposing is horrific. So I don't support it.
What are they proposing? Because I'm going to Cape Town. I just want to be prepared in case there's any major changes.
No, these people, they
Will I be able to smoke weed there? That's basically what it is. All the places I've been, I could just go to a shop and buy weed, but I don't know in Cape Town. No. Fuck.
They're not pro-weed.
No. I don't know if I can do Cape Town, bro. Shit. That's terrible.
Anyway. Yeah. The point I was making is that there's no one good to vote for, so I'm not going to waste my time.
Fair enough.
The next news story?
The next one I'm getting from the nymag.com, and it's written by Matt Stepan. And on Sunday afternoon, outside the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C., a 25-year-old Air Force service member, Aaron Bushnell, placed his phone on the ground and set up a live stream. Hey, something hectic, bro. Then he stood before the embassy gates and lit himself on fire while shouting, "Free Palestine!"
All right.
In a horrific
you should be doing a voice there. That's this is quite a serious story.
You put the quotation marks. So I'm just
quotes doesn't mean say it like that.
I bet.
Quotes just means that's what he said.
He lit himself on fire while shouting, "Free Palestine!" in a horrific and ultimately deadly in a horrific and ultimately deadly protest against the Israeli-Hamas war in Gaza. Hours before lighting himself on fire, Bushnell posted a Twitch link on his Facebook page with the caption, "Many of us like to ask ourselves, what would I do if I was alive during slavery, or the Jim Crow South, or apartheid? What would I do if my country was committing genocide? The answer is, you're doing it right now."
So, I have mixed feelings about this. Right? It's kind of horrific.
It is.
Like to watch, first of all,
Yes.
before anything else, right? Just seeing somebody light themselves on fire is just not a good thing to watch, dog.
I'm sure it's not smelling any better. It doesn't feel any better.
Yes.
So it's a nasty thing. Bro.
A lot of people have been saying that this is suicide, and this person is mentally ill. We shouldn't encourage a person killing themselves, right? And there's more productive ways that he could have protested or done something, but at the same time he would have probably said that this is something
he's so passionate about.
Yeah.
He's willing to die.
Yes.
And he don't want to live on this earth unless he gets what he's saying
justice,
he wants.
for these people to stop the violence, so that shows how serious he is about it. He's willing to give his own life, hoping that people will take note of this. So again, I'm very conflicted. I don't know how to feel about this, but I definitely know. I'm glad that he felt so strongly about something. There's people who just go through life,
very mundane and dull.
Yeah, they don't have any passion. This guy, he definitely had passion.
He lit that shit on fire, passion.
Yes. So, pretty hectic, bro. Can we get into the context for the movie?
Yes, tell me about the 90s Marvel.
Right. So I've told the story many, many times on the show, but once again, in the 90s, Marvel was going out of business.
Yes.
So they sold off the movie rights to their most popular characters. Since then, they have reclaimed the majority of those characters, like the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, right? The notable exception to this is still Spider-Man, which Sony owns.
Oh, so Sony is really holding on to that masterpiece. Bro.
Yeah. So it's not just Spider-Man; it's all his the extended
universes.
Yeah, like
universe
there's about 900 other characters associated with Spider-Man that they can use, right?
Okay.
So, like for example, Madam Web, like all the people in this movie, right? It's not just like different versions of Spider-Man, that kind of stuff, right? So yes, so Sony has been trying to create their own shared universe of Spider-Man related movies, which I have been referring to as SPUM.
Yeah,
the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel movies,
Yeah.
right? And Madam Web was supposed to be the linchpin or the Nick Fury character of the universe.
Yes,
that brings that brings everyone together and forms the Spider Avengers, right?
I dig it, bro.
Right. The tagline of this movie is that her web connects them all.
For sure.
But I'm gonna spoilers because we're still in the context. We haven't discussed the movie yet, but I don't feel her web connected anybody, bro. It's like it was just a fucking coincidence, bro. They're like,
I mean, look, any web has to be connected to something in order for it to be a web. Or else it's just like it's not the same. So
I just
her web does connect them.
All right, I'm just saying
she
to
got
me,
some people,
that tagline,
Fury, right?
that tagline didn't
Nick
work.
Fury wouldn't stand for you to talk about him like this. Why would you talk about the 50 Shades girl like this?
I like her. She's great, bro. Right. So aside from Madam Web herself, I was not familiar with the other characters in this movie. I did some very basic googling, and the three girls are various versions of Spider-Woman. And Ezekiel Sims is also very different. He's usually an ally of Peter Parker, so he actually turns out to be a bad guy, but the majority of his run he was a good guy. So
because his suit and everything, I was like, this guy looked like he was friends with this man's,
Yeah.
But maybe in another universe, lifetime they could have been.
I was going to say he looks like an evil Spider-Man.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Like, what was his name except his name?
Ezekiel Sims.
Yeah. He didn't have any name when he put on the costume or anything.
I was thinking Sticky Man. Because
they were saying he was sticky on the wall.
That's his only power, right? I mean...
he runs fast, he's strong,
That's just generic. What, we're gonna call him the running man, the strong man? It's
some people only have one of those skills.
Like, okay, I'm seeing in this movie there's a limited set of spider powers. Sticking on walls, seeing the future.
Well, seeing the future is new, but the spider senses.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not. It's just a much more powerful version of the spider sense. So it's not new. It's just we're seeing more of it, right? So everybody more or less has the same powers. Just some people have a far more powerful version of one, and others have like a less powerful version of. So I get that, but
and they did explain that nicely in the movie. I must applaud the movie when a movie explains something simply and straightforward to me.
I don't know. Some of her powers are just a bit confusing, but we'll get to it. Right. Sure. This movie is directed by S.J. Clarkson in her feature film debut. I looked at her TV directing credits, and she directed the episode Prague of Succession, which. Nice. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I did watch Succession.
It's Tom's Bachelor Party, which is a total banger episode, right? Where they all get drunk and, and they have a fucked up party.
Nice.
And as well as episodes of The Defenders.
Oh, okay.
And House and Orange is the New Black, which which proves that she knows how to deal with an ensemble cast, which made a good choice for this movie. Because similarly, there's like a bunch of different actors here. But it's not like they like big actresses. Like Sydney Sweeney is probably the biggest actress, and when they made this movie, she wasn't that big. So yeah, I don't know what point I was making there. But anyway, this was a Valentine's Day release, which doesn't make a lot of sense because it doesn't have anything to do with romantic love.
It has to do with women, though. And Valentine's Day is about women.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was about relationships, a couple.
Yeah. And if you're not in a couple, what do you do on Valentine's Day? You pursue a woman.
What if you're a woman?
Then, it's about you. You get pursued or...
Well, I don't think that's right.
Yeah,
I'm a men's rights activist now.
Look, I don't agree with the whole principle about
men have rights too.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
For sure. And I also don't think it's the best day because it doesn't have anything to do with romance, you're right. But I just think, it's an all-female cast. If we went to the movies with my girlfriend and I had to look at the options and I decided on a movie with like Jason Statham, there's some other movie. If there's a movie with a female cast, we might be more likely to watch that.
Wow. I didn't even think about it like that, Damn.
Just a new perspective.
But yeah, I would assume that they try to match it up, but whatever, right? The last bit of context is that the writers are known for releasing rubbish movies. I know... In the list I'm about to present, I know you like the movies here, right? But to the general public, these are very poorly reviewed movies, right?
What about, what percentage of the public is voting for these movies? Because to be honest, I've watched a lot of movies, I haven't voted for them. So, do you understand what I'm saying?
You're saying there's more of you.
Yes, we just don't know. We don't vote,
Yeah.
But sure. Tell me, what about the shitty rubbish movies? What movies were they?
So the writers' names are Matt Sazama and Burke Sharpless. And their credits include Dracula Untold, which my dad also loves Dracula Untold, bro. He's like, I wish they made another Dracula Untold.
I would definitely watch that movie. I'd go to the IMAX and watch, bro.
Oh my god. Anyway, then Gods of Egypt, which is a movie I liked.
What's the Gods of Egypt? Is it like the where they're fighting with the?
Yes.
I guess the Gods of Egypt.
Like, there's a guy who lives in space, and there's a monster who comes every night, and he fights off the monster.
Oh shit! No.
That's just a small portion.
I bet I'll check it out.
That honestly has nothing to do with the main story. That's just something I found cool in that movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then what's next?
Morbius, which Morbius is another spam movie.
Yeah,
it's you know,
he's supposed to be help. Why don't they make like these people appear in these movies? You know,
Morbius.
Yeah, like what else is Morbius doing, bro? Is he busy with?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Crazy things.
I'm shocked that both Venom and Morbius didn't show up in this movie.
Yeah, nobody, bro.
Well, I guess it was set in 2003, but I was thinking more of a post-credits, in the future or something.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, we get into the thoughts for the movie. Right? I went to see this at Greenstone last week on Tuesday, because Tuesday is half price. Today is Tuesday, so I was thinking about going tonight, but the movie I want to watch will be full price because I've already used the half price discount when I watched it the first time, which is Oppenheimer. They've re-released it.
An extended version?
No.
They just re-released it because it was so nice?
No. They only do it at 7:30 in the evening. This week, because the Oscars are coming, and it's been winning a bunch of the awards. So I'm sure people want to actually see it, right? Because it's winning all those awards. So I loved it the first time. So I was thinking about watching it again tonight. And then I tried to book tickets this morning, and it's like you can't use it because you've already booked tickets for it before. And I was like, I started crying.
My bad, bro. I just want to watch my movie, man.
I threw my hands up in the air and shouted, no!
That's disappointing. Sorry, buddy.
Anyway, I've had a lot of thoughts since then, but they all lead back to this one simple point. There's no authorial intent.
In this movie?
Yes.
Authorial intent in how? What do you mean?
So, like with a book, there's a singular author that they have a vision and then they make that vision happen by writing. Obviously a movie is different, right? You have a creative team, but it's usually the director. It may not be the director, it may be an executive producer, it may be the star of the movie. There's a person who it's their vision of what they wanted to do, right? I don't think there's anybody in this movie that was the main author. I feel like the studio just told them, put this in, put that in, put this in, and then they had to build a movie around those constraints instead of there being a core idea that
someone had a vision and they were like, we want to do it this way, let's get it done.
Yes.
Now there was no vision. They were just like, put that.
Yeah, so that's my main thesis, my main, or I should say hypothesis. And I'll, while I'm going through my other thoughts for the movie, I'll give examples. Right?
Sure.
Do you want to?
No. I was, when my thoughts on the movie, I was excited when I saw those 3 girls, and I was excited. I was like, hey, we got more teenagers, Spider-Man kicking ass women, and I was just a little bit disappointed when I didn't see too much of them. But
yeah, right. So what made me think of this is because Dakota Johnson said that the finished product is nowhere near what she signed on to do, right? Although she couldn't say what the changes were. Another source said this was originally supposed to be a Terminator-style movie where Ezekiel was the villain from the future who came back to kill Spider-Man as a baby, right? Which that sounds infinitely more interesting than the movie we actually got, right? I'll explain why in the stakes section of this review, but the point I'm making is that the author would have fought for the original vision, but due to there being no author with a singular vision, all these changes happen and it turns out to be a mess, right? Which, again, this is just a hypothesis that it was this change from that. Actually, sorry, Dakota Johnson definitely told us that it was changed. We just don't know what it was changed from. That's what I'm saying, right? But let's just be clear. the idea of there being no authorial intent is just my speculation. The real reason this movie sucked is because it's a Spider-Man movie with no cool spider powers. The three girls have no powers. The villain's only power is that he sticks to the wall.
He runs fast, and he leaps and shit.
Mr. Sticky Man. That's what I'm calling him, right?
Yeah.
And Madam Web's powers aren't combat based, right? It's like she can see the future. That doesn't have to do with fighting.
I will admit though, the way she used the powers was very interesting to see the future and then to change it and try and do. But I understand it doesn't make for a very exciting hand-to-hand combat experience. If I think about the deaths in this movie, there was only one guy, the first guy, her captain who died, and after that, no other deaths really stuck, because then she was just trying to prevent everything.
Yes, and this is a point I was going to bring up later, but that captain was played by Mike Epps, who's a very good comedian. Actually, I don't know if he's a comedian or he just acts in comedic movies, but he's very funny, and I don't think they used him to be funny at all in this movie, right? They didn't use him well. He was there for like 2 minutes and then he died. He didn't even tell one joke. You can't get a joke out in 1 minute. All right, but anyway. So I kind of like the acting in this movie, or to be specific, I like the interaction between Madam Web and the girls. Madam Web is an awkward, antisocial adult, like me, right? And the girls are annoying, catty teenage girls, like some of the students I tutor. So I found their interactions to be very relatable, right? I've seen a lot of people criticize Dakota Johnson for her line delivery and monotone voice throughout the movie. But like I said, her character is supposed to be awkward and weird. So this makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. I think the movie is trying to say that because she's an orphan, she's kind of maladjusted because she, didn't grow up in a regular way.
Care system.
Yes.
And just like, oh, look how it turned out, not so bad. And the girls were like...
Yes. I also like the acting of the villain played by Taha Rahim. He had a real sinister aura to him. I don't know if he also played Ezekiel in The Suit, but I like the physicality of the evil Spider-Man, right? But the big standout for me was Adam Scott as Ben Parker. Do you remember him? He's the EMT. He's a co-worker.
Is he Ben Parker?
Yes.
Oh my God! I didn't even realize. That just clicked now.
Bro,
oh, shit.
What is going on? And
I didn't realize it was Ben Parker.
Were you paying attention?
I just didn't realize.
Because they go to the baby, the baby shower. Is it?
Yeah.
Right, and they're naming the baby.
Yeah.
That's Peter Parker.
Oh.
Well,
look, to be honest, there must be a link between this universe and the Peter Parker.
Yes.
So that I can understand.
But I mean, were you not paying attention?
Ben Parker, okay, right. Sure. But I still think they could have added some extra fun villains and, anti-heroes and stuff. Even the Punisher. Where's the Punisher? The Punisher could have come in and shut this guy to shit, man.
That's true. You could say that for every Marvel movie. Where's the Punisher, dog? The Punisher could have just come in and shot this guy to shit. Even like Thanos. Just if the Punisher pulled up. Right. But even though I like these performances, back to what I was saying about there being no authorial intent, it feels like everyone was giving a performance for a different movie, right? And it looks like a mess when it all comes together because Dakota Johnson, I understand she's supposed to be weird, but nobody acknowledges that she's weird. Actually, like the girls do.
She said also herself, so... I do get that about her character, and I think she played her character very well as well. You know, that's how she was meant to be, kind of, you know, antisocial.
I also thought that this is not a well-shot movie. It feels dull, grey, and lifeless. And an especially bizarre thing at the beginning of the movie, there's just a bunch of crash zooms for no apparent reason. Are you familiar with the crash zoom?
No, tell me.
It's just, there's a zoom and it just goes, you know, like, I'll show you one later. Right, but at the beginning, there was just a bunch of crash zooms for no reason, and then after that beginning, we never see it again, right? Which was so odd,
Doesn't feel really relevant.
Yes. So, like I mentioned, this director directed on Succession, which uses a lot of crash zooms. But Succession is filmed in an almost documentary style format, which makes sense for that camera trick. Here is a total unnecessary and distracting use of that, right? And back to the idea of authorial intent, if this was a camera style chosen, they would have used it throughout the movie, right? But it's someone chose to use that camera trick one day, and then every day after that, somebody chose something else.
Clearly, I understand what you're saying, because this movie, the way it's like, whenever they have a problem, they just pick a new person to fix the problem. So, like, maybe they had a guy who was supposed to be the captain, and then they were like, that guy fell out, so they're like, hey, we need a new replacement, quick, let's get anyone, call Mike Epps, fuck it, put Mike Epps there, you know, and now, you know, this as well, so some of the things are a bit random.
So, I get what you were saying, but I thought the action was awful and repetitive, right? Every action scene follows the same pattern. Ezekiel shows up and attacks the girls. It turns out it was a vision, and Madam Web uses her knowledge of the future to come hit Ezekiel with a car or something, right? I think she does it at least twice. She hits him with a car, right?
And then she drove around that car. I remember distinctly, she hit him with the yellow taxi cab. Then she went and knocked the plates off the car, and then she just kept driving it. Even she went to Peru and came back, and the same taxi was there waiting for her, like, waiting for, what the hell?
Right.
Then they escape,
Yes. So I understand she has a very limited power set, but this felt very lazy. Compare this with Aquaman, which we covered here a few weeks ago. Not we, but I mean the podcast. Right, a few weeks ago, where every action scene felt inventive and fresh. I just felt it's the same. She could have used her powers in a different, way each time. And then, at the end of the movie, Ezekiel, he puts her in a very, tough position. It's like, all three of these girls, they're in trouble. What do we do?
I can't save them all.
Yes.
And then she just remembered that shit, and she was able to fucking save
but that's
them
what I'm saying. When I said there's that one thing that's unexplained, why can she put three people out of herself that goes and saves them?
Because that guy told her.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what about her powers that she showed up until this point? That has led us to believe that
guy told her. So that's what I'm saying when I like a movie where they explain nicely.
Which guy told her?
She went to that guy in Peru, and that guy in Peru was like, these are your powers, this is what you will be able to do once you have, the better, situation. And then when it came to it, she remembered, that's why I just said, you can't save them all. Then it clicked in her head. And she was like, I bet I can save them all. Damn. So she accessed the power of the web, and the web was all connected. So
fair enough.
Yeah, that's what I reckon.
Another, you know what? That's a very good point, right?
Thanks.
The next thing is when you take great responsibility, great power will follow.
Yeah.
It's. I understand what they're trying to do.
Yes.
They're trying to make a reference to the line, but this makes no fucking sense.
Wow. After I've just explained to you now, don't you think it makes a bit more sense? Because she took on the responsibility of all those girls, and then all of a sudden she had this power.
In this one specific sequence of events, yes, it made sense.
Yeah.
In life in general, that's not the case, right?
Sure.
With great power comes great responsibility.
With greater responsibility comes greater power.
That applies across the board, right? When you take great responsibility, great power follow is not applicable across the board, is it?
Okay.
In this very one specific thing, it was.
Well, you wanted some focus and vision. Someone clearly had a vision.
Fuck you, man. Yes. Jesus.
Someone wanted a vision for them to make this like a spin-off of Spider-Man.
Right.
And maybe they because all these things happen in maybe the last 30 minutes or 40 minutes of the movie, so that was someone else's job. Someone else came and took over, you know.
Right.
And any funny moments?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to say. I did find a lot of the reviews I've been reading, people have been saying how unfunny it is.
Yeah.
And I disagree. There are some funny moments in this movie, like at the baby shower when she says, "Oh, my mother died in childbirth to a heavily pregnant lady," and people are like, "Oh my god!"
That was awkward, yeah.
Yes, yes. And then she tries to climb the wall and falls flat on her face. That again, it's I wouldn't say dark humor. I would say it's awkward humor, which is
for sure.
If you don't like awkward humor, it's gonna not work for you, right? Obviously, it's a very specific type of humor, but I found it very funny in certain places, right?
Look, I won't say it was a funny movie because I didn't laugh most of the time. That's how I would categorize a funny movie. If I laughed like maybe 90% of the time, you know. But this movie, it was more interesting and serious, so yeah.
I laughed like 3 or 4 times.
And while there's that 2 scenes, you know, we've already covered.
Yeah, I can't remember every single thing.
But I'm just saying, you know that there's only a few chuckles, and it's a laugh, not like a hearty, deep laugh.
Like you said, it's not a comedy. So I like when a movie, even though it's not a comedy, has some light moments, because it's like, you know, even in a horror movie, just the interaction between people. When people are sitting with each other, people tell jokes, you know, that's how people interact. So even in like a horror movie, people are supposed to tell jokes, I think. If you want dialogue,
look, if we've learned anything in life, people will use humor, you know, as a coping mechanism. So it only makes sense that at least in every person, in every universe, there must be one funny character.
Yeah. That's what I feel like as well. So I'm glad they had some jokes in this movie, which
for sure.
But again, people are not finding it funny. So
you know, they did something. It's cool.
So what are the stakes of this movie? Ezekiel Sims thinks that the Spider Girls are going to kill him, so he tries to kill them first.
Dude, Mans was mad, like, I don't know, obsessed, bro. He was just so scared of death, man.
Yes.
Like, so, he thinks it's coming around the corner.
This whole situation can be cleared up with the frank conversation, right? At no point does Madam Web stop the villain and say, "Hey, the future is not set in stone. Things can be changed. I have more powerful future sight than you, and this is how it works." She doesn't ever just tell him like, "Hey, it's fine, you won't die, don't worry about it."
I mean, it's hard to trust a villain, but now that you've given me context about who Ezekiel is, and normally he's, you know,
a good guy,
a friendly. Then, yes.
At the end of the movie, he could have, could have been like, "Oh, all right, cool," and then teamed up with them. He could have been like an anti-hero or similar, you know. Yes, but anyway, back to my original point about authorial intent. If the original idea was to kill Peter Parker as a baby, that makes far more sense. Peter Parker has to become Spider-Man. If he was just trying to stop him from being born, full stop, that's a bigger problem. You know, them killing them to stop them from killing him. Like, what? Aren't they supposed to be the good guys? What did Ezekiel Sims do to make them come? like come and murder him. You know, like they're supposed to be the good guys.
That's usually what they do.
Yes.
And now he just thinks they're gonna rock up at his place and throw him out of his apartment.
Yes. So that's why I was like, the stakes of this movie make no sense. If they, like I just said, if the plan was to stop Peter from ever becoming Spider-Man, that's a much more compelling reason for the villain to be doing what they want to do. And if that was the original idea, it's fucked up that they changed it. And if they changed it, nobody went back to make sure that the rest of the movie made sense. You know, that things had been changed. So yeah, I gave the movie a 5.
Okay.
But I kind of liked it, right? Like, I don't think I wasted my time watching the movie, which, you know, is not very high praise. It's but it is a genuinely bad movie. Like we've mentioned, like it's a mess. It's not well made. But again, I had a bit of fun with it.
I'd give it like a 6.2, you know. I also won't say it was the best movie, but it was enjoyable enough, you know. It was nice to see an all-female cast. I like the girls that they chose individually and the characters of them as well. So, but like I'm saying, I was just disappointed because I wanted to see more of those girls, you know, becoming Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, sorry. But yeah, I didn't get to see. I only saw Madam Web lose her sight.
Yeah, that's I forgot to mention that. That's
after all that, she can still see.
Yeah, she becomes comic book Madam Web at the end that we saw. Well, we haven't released it yet, but the animated Spider-Man TV show. She becomes like in a wheelchair. She's blind, and that helps her powers somehow. Which I don't know. Anyway, in the predictions episode, I said that this may surprise people, but I was wrong. This is as bad as people thought it was going to be. So, damn, you caught me. You caught me, you know, other people.
Sorry, buddy.
Anyway,
not too bad. Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts on the movie?
No, I think it was a pretty good movie overall. Yeah,
so,
not too bad.
Recommendations.
I have been watching American Horror Story with Kim Kardashian. That bitch was crazy in that particular scene, you know, in that series.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also been watching Avatar.
The new
young
live action version.
Yeah,
how is it?
Not too bad.
Wait, just your review of your review of American Horror Story was like, that bitch is crazy. You don't want to say anything else.
No. Well, look, it's not a review. You asked for recommendations. I'm just
but I mean,
what I've been watching.
Yes, you watched it, but what do you find compelling about it? What do you dislike?
Any of the American Horror Story movie is like series, then you know what you're gonna get. So
yeah, but our audience may have never watched it. So
then you can choose any one of those in the anthology series and start. But in this one, it's a more modern day set, you know, where, and funny, you were talking about the nominees and the Grammys and stuff. This lady, this lady, she's preparing for the nominations and the Golden Globes and things, and now Kim Kardashian is set as a figure who's meant to help her to aspire to these.
I think
accolades.
I've seen a clip of this on Twitter where she's like, I had just, do you know how many dicks had to get sucked for this?
Yeah. That's the one. Like, that's the one.
I didn't realize that was from American Horror Story.
So that's it's very interesting, very gory. Like, you know, some scenes are nasty, and you just gotta bite your tongue. But that's American Horror Story. So yeah, I'm still in the middle of it. And Avatar: Last Airbender, that's also not too bad. The live action is not too bad. I'm enjoying it, but it just takes forever for this kid to fucking learn other elements, bro. If I was him, as soon as I found out, I would be like, bet, let's learn the new elements now. This kid was so scared he ran away.
But you can't just learn a bit. You need to master it.
Yeah, dog. To master it, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah,
this
but
kid is not even starting anywhere. I just saw him once or twice playing with water with guitar, so we'll see how it goes. And it's 8 episodes. So
playing with water is funny.
Yeah,
it's 8 episodes, so
yeah, that's 8 episodes. So maybe I'm like halfway through. So I'm expecting it must get more interesting. More recently. Or as the last.
If you're halfway through and it hasn't gotten interesting, is that a good show?
Well, some shows, But like I'm saying, I watched all of the Avatar, the cartoon, and it was epic, brilliant show. I enjoyed it. But even in then, that kid takes forever. Probably 1 or 2 books before he starts learning any other techniques properly. So I understand why it would take so long. But if that's the case, I would just be Netflix can let me know and say more of this season is coming. That'll get me excited to know that there's more.
So would you recommend people watch it or no?
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Okay, never mind. I was going to say, would you recommend they watch this or the animated? It's obviously...
Well, for someone who we enjoyed the animated one, it takes a little bit more time.
That's the thing. But
so if you got time, definitely watch that. But if not, this Netflix one will do just as
even if you don't have time, watch the animated one.
Okay, then.
Because it's genuinely so good. One of the best animated shows.
Yeah, for sure. In production with Nickelodeon. Shout out Nickelodeon.
Do you have any other?
No. And then, just American Horror Story. That's all.
So I've been very slow the past couple of weeks. I've only been watching very little. But so this week, following his death, following his death last week, I watched Navalny, a documentary about the charismatic opponent of Putin. It was very revealing in terms of how depraved Putin is, and how brazen he is in terms of killing people. But it's a story about how Navalny was poisoned. And but he survived by mistake. So I think one of Putin's poisoners, they fucked up.
They didn't put the whole vial.
No, they gave him vial. They even gave him extra poison. But he got to a hospital quickly enough that they were able to stop it.
Psychologist was able to
stop it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's they fucked up because they didn't do it quickly enough, because he had time to land, and when he landed, he got care. So if they had done it earlier, he would have died up in the air. So yes.
So failed attempt.
Yes.
No to the assassins.
Yeah. Well, like I said in the news section last week, he died. So they did do better. They got them.
But do better the first time.
Yeah. They made a documentary on your huge fuck up.
Yeah. That's bad, bro.
Yeah. Okay. It's not looking good for your job prospects afterwards. To be oh, you were the one who fucked up the Navalny killing.
But there's a documentary about it. Don't worry.
No, yeah. But I mean, that's the point. It's a documentary about how I'm an idiot. Right. But it didn't change my opinion of Navalny himself, right? He's correct to oppose Putin, but he's also a bad guy who marched alongside neo-Nazis, right? Like I said, his point that he's trying to make is that these neo-Nazis are against Putin, and he needs all the allies he can get. My point is, don't ally with neo-Nazis,
It's pretty straightforward,
yeah.
Fair enough. Well, what would you rate it then?
I gave the documentary an 8.
Right.
I gave the person, Navalny, a lower rating. Like a 5, maybe a 4.
So if the actor was better, maybe the series could have been nicer.
No,
the show.
It's not a. There's no actor. That's the real Navalny's in the.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a documentary.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry, my bad.
Then next in the blank check John McTiernan mirror series, we have Die Hard.
Oh.
I watched Die Hard for the very first time during the pandemic, and I gave it an 8. But since then, I've watched a lot more movies, and now I recognize what a technical marvel it is. So I'm bumping it up to a 9. Right?
Nice.
Just like his previous movie, Predator, the only problem is that the CGI doesn't hold up. But there's so little CGI that it's, a negligible problem. My favorite part is when when Hans Gruber says, "So what? You think you're some sort of cowboy?" And McClane replies, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker." Iconic line, bro. Amazing.
So would you recommend I should watch that?
Definitely watch Die Hard.
I'll check it out.
Amazing action movie. I actually, you will definitely love it.
Mr. McClane in his prime there. I was watching Red the other day. I watched Red when he was a lot more calm and patient and slow. Because he got himself a young girl, so he's trying to be slick with it.
Mary Louise Parker. Then I finally got around to watching season 2 of The Bear. I watched the first season actually a few months ago by now, but yes, this weekend, the Carabao Cup, just that entire day, like when I woke up that morning until the Carabao Cup started, I watched The Bear. And incredible series. I do think it was a bit overhyped. There's one episode of the series that was getting rave reviews, episode 6. It's an hour long. The episodes are usually like 20 minutes. So an hour long is
a big difference.
Yes, it's a big difference. So that hour long episode was getting like rave reviews, like one of the best TV show episodes ever. And I watched it and I'm like, it's a good episode. It's not like, the way people are saying, but yes, very good show. I gave this season a 9 out of 10, and the show overall is a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
So watch The Bear, guys. Well, first watch Succession, then watch The Bear.
Why Succession first?
I love Succession, bro.
Okay.
And at the last award ceremony, The Bear won all the comedy awards, and Succession won all the drama awards. So that's why they kind of interlinked in my mind. Because next is the new season of Star Wars, The Bad Batch. Are you familiar with The Bad Batch? Alright. Are you familiar with Star Wars? I don't think so, right?
I know a little bit about them. You can talk about them to me.
So in episode...
I won't interject, but you can talk to them about me.
In episode 2, they create a clone army from this one guy. The Bad Batch are, as you can imagine, like guys with fucked up DNA. Right? But they have these enhancements that make them different, but the one guy is more powerful. The one guy is a better shooter. Their fuck up is a power, not a
special skill.
Yes. So yes, they go on missions together, and they have a brotherhood. They clone, so they're technically the same guy, but they have a brotherly bond, and I think it's a very just excellent show.
Alright, for sure.
So
sounds good.
It's an animated. It's an animated
show.
Yes.
Even better.
And it's very short. I think they're 10 episodes a season, and it's 3 seasons. So that'll take you an afternoon.
Oh, nice.
Well, probably longer, but
Nah, we can do it in the afternoon. No worries. Yeah.
Anyway.
Have faith. Thank you for listening.
So thank you for listening. Please remember
I'm shouting, Doug. I'm just saying thank you. We can both say thank you.
And we did both say thank you.
I'm saying thank you again, though.
Thank you for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, give a like, etc. Importantly, it needs to be a 5-star review.
Only 5. No 4s, no 3s.
4.9.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
And
I always want to say something hectic. I want to be
No, don't say it.
Okay.
It's okay. Just tell your friend, and then tell your friend to tell their friend.
Yeah.
And then?
Tell a family member.
Oh, yeah. And then?
I was going to ask you, I was just going to say, what do you think we should do next week?
Movie-wise.
Because look, this is the thing. Next week is Dune. That's the big thing everyone's gonna be talking about. And I'm so keen for Dune. I'm fucking bouncing off the walls ready for Dune.
Yeah.
Like last night I was doing throat singing. From the...
So excited for the Dune.
Have you seen the first Dune movie? Well, we're gonna rewatch it now to do our commentary on it. But there's a group of guys called the Sardaukar. They're the Emperor's like elite battle guys, and they do throat singing. It's like wow. So I'm at home doing that. I'm going
waiting for the dunes.
Yes,
for the dunes.
but I want to do it in 2 weeks. So not this upcoming weekend, the following week. So we need to figure out something for this weekend. So comment, listeners, if you have any ideas, and you can, think about it.
Yeah, let us know.
No, and you. I'm talking about you.
Hit me back, girl. Hit me back.
Yeah. So yeah.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Bye. Bye-bye.